Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft Amplified server in 60 FPS glory. That is awesome. The 60 frames per second thing, for the longest time I've been thinking one of these days I'm going to forget to change my recording settings to 60 FPS, and yet every single time I come over here to record I always remember to change it, and that's probably the most uninteresting story you've ever heard. Today what we're going to be doing is working on that slime farm, but I was just wandering around checking up on things, and I noticed something that may be causing a little bit of a frame rate issue. Right now we're down to 30 frames per second, and this I think might be the cause of our lag. This farm right here has around possibly up to 400 chickens in. Now at first I wasn't 100% sure about this. I went up the top and I had a look down, and you know what, I hate moving around with that F3 screen open. It does take up quite a lot of the screen, but if we look down from up here you can see the entities is around 70, but of course it's probably not rendering the chickens that are underneath there, and I'm getting 60 frames per second. But if we come around the front and have a look right here, it goes down to 30 frames per second, and I think the amount of chickens that there are on the bottom here is probably a good indicator that there are too many at the top. So I am going to open this up and reduce the amount of chickens. I'm sure Mumbo won't mind, he'll understand. There are way too many in this one right here. We have all the free chicken we could ever need at the moment as well, and of course this isn't Mumbo's fault or anything like that. I'm just looking out for the frames on the server and keeping the entities down. You know, really these things shouldn't cause lag. The game should be designed in a way where you can do what you want, but there you go. So we're going to open this thing up. Hopefully chickens don't explode everywhere. That is a possibility, I guess. And I'm not sure where exactly the middle is. It kind of feels like that's the middle. Maybe we have to go back a few more blocks. Okay, you can see the ones above there are the white stained glass. So I'll remove those and sort this out. Yes, anyway, we're going to go over and work on the slime farm today. So I guess I'll meet you over there once we've done this. And, oh no, they're going to escape, they're going to escape. This could be really bad. Okay, I'm going to stand here and whack these guys, and it looks like it's just their AI at the moment. They're figuring out they've got a new place to go to, and then they're walking out the top here. Okay, right, I've got to get my F3 screen open here and make sure I don't kill too many. But I'll meet you over at the slime farm. Do you know what? I think I might have made a little bit of a mistake here. It's still saying around 400 entities, and you can see that the hoppers go back by 3 blocks, so they're not all clumped up together like these ones are anymore, but there are actually quite a few of them in there. So I might reduce them a little bit more, though I think that's there. I think we're actually picking up the entities from something else. Even though we're just looking straight at this thing and nothing else behind it should be rendered, there are a load of cows back here as well, around 200 cows, but 400 entities, that does look like a lot more than what's there, doesn't it? When we look upwards we get another 300, so I think I'm actually getting this wrong. You know, we've got to look in a direction to see how many entities are loaded, and I reckon there's something else going on here, because 460, that is definitely not just these chickens, is it? So something else may be going on behind here. I'm going to have to do some investigating and try and figure this one out. Well, our frames are now up to 35 seconds. It's a little bit of an improvement. Don't think this was actually the issue after all. You know, I think it's actually loading all of the animals around the back here. There's around 200 or more cows down in this area, and when we stand up the top here and I look in that direction, there is around 170 entities loaded. So I think even though they're out of the render distance, sometimes it does actually load these animals. I don't know how the game works. Maybe some of you Minecraft experts could let me know, but I guess this lag problem is still going on around here. At the moment I'm getting a solid 60, but you can just move into different areas and it drops down, which is quite worrying. But anyway, we've done enough of this for now. We need to head over to that slime farm. That's right, this isn't a slime farm. I'm doing a little bit of enchanting, getting myself prepared and having some more thoughts on this new system. I do like it, but the whole repair thing with the anvil is really annoying, because when you get bad picks like these, then they're kind of useless. Now I got these because it said Fortune and Silk Touch in the bit down here, and I thought that means it's probably a good chance it's going to have Unbreaking or Efficiency on it, and of course what we want is an Efficiency 5 pick. So I've also got this one over here from earlier. I've got a couple of efficiency books that I could add to it, but the thing is, as soon as I add these 2 books, the repair cost is going to start going up, and this thing is going to have less uses over time, which means the best thing you can get out of one of these enchantment tables is actually Efficiency 4 and Unbreaking 3, and getting Silk Touch and Fortune isn't actually that great unless you specifically need it. So, what are we going to get next? Will it be another one of those, or Efficiency 4? Let's guess, with Unbreaking or without? without unbreaking. That's not particularly good, because as soon as we combine something else with it, it means the cost is going to go down. So if ever we want an efficiency 5 pick, we're basically going to have to get efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3 on it straight away, because otherwise that repair cost is going to go straight up. And that is a little bit more expensive, isn't it, than usual for combining two together for the first time? I don't know, I'm not having very much luck at all. Let's do one more enchantment before we leave, as I've got another 3 diamonds. Fortune 3, you see, I would normally give this a go because it could come with Unbreaking 3 and Efficiency 4, but given our current luck, I am not going to risk it. We're going to do a couple of Duff enchantments and then try again. Completely forgot that there's a crafting table right there. That is a little bit silly. Right, let's do that, and then Efficiency 4. So, fingers crossed, do we get Unbreaking 3 with it? Oh, that's not so bad at all. That is not so bad at all. And of course, the Silk Touch doesn't affect the repair cost, so that's all good right there. We'll combine that with Efficiency 4, and then we'll move over to the farm. I know, we're still not there. I've had some further thoughts about this enchanting system. This pick right here is really valuable to us because of the efficiency 5, and at the moment its repair cost is quite low. So if we look at these picks over here, these are probably actually worth more to us repairing this pick over here than it is combining these enchantments to make a useful pick. You see, if we put the Unbreaking 3 with this efficiency 4 and then another efficiency 4 book, you know, the repair cost has already gone up quite a bit before we actually start using it. And then we've used 6 diamonds in total, so I think these are actually more worthwhile repairing a pick that has the right enchantments than they are combining them together, which is interesting stuff. I'm pretty sure I've got that right. It means you would use less diamonds overall when repairing this one with these ones, which is interesting stuff. But now we will actually be going over to the slime farm. Let me grab that pick and let's make our way over there. And we are back. Do you know what? I'm never going to get bored of this place, splitting up all of the slimes into little guys. It's so awesome that these guys don't hurt you, you know. It's a lot of fun like this. Love those little things in the game. And yeah, I've just been splitting up the big ones that were already here. So, anyway, this slime farm, let's have a little chat about it because it is a special slime farm. It exists in 4 chunks that are all next to each other. And although that's not the most uncommon of things, I've never really seen too many farm designs specifically for it, or, you know, people playing around with it before in the community. And there are so many people out there playing Minecraft, it would not surprise me if someone has done some videos on something like this before. But for the longest time, I've been thinking about different ways we could create a farm with redstone, with all kinds of pistons and contraptions, and do some clever stuff. And then the other day, I just had this idea that was so simple, it kind of took the mick. And we might be able to make a pretty effective farm out of this thing with very little resources. Now, one of the things I want to do in this series is evolve as we go along. You know, never stick to one thing. If ever I feel like changing a farm or redoing a project, then I wouldn't have a problem with that. And so I feel like this is the time to give this a try. It'd be awesome to have loads of slime blocks on the server and to automate the collection of these. And it's going to be an ever so simple method for doing so. And then at some point in the future, we could, you know, tear it out and do something a little more complicated and interesting using some pistons and hoppers and stuff. But for now, we're going to try the simplest way possible. So, recently, the way that slimes changed what did I just say? Recently, the way the slimes behave has been changed, and now they can actually swim against the current of water. But even though they can do that, they will still drown in water, and I still think they'll be pretty stupid and swim in it and die. So my idea is that what we do is go to the very top of this room, and we simply drop water down the side, filling up this entire gap right here. So around the top we'll create like a platform with water above it, then we'll remove the platform, the water will fall all the way down to the bottom here, and I think what will happen is the slimes will literally walk off the edge into the water, they'll drown, they'll get split up, and then their slime balls will fall all the way down through the water to the bottom. And then down here we can obviously create a collection point. And that would be it. That would literally be it. We would just have water coming down from the sides around the outside. It would be a really crazy way of doing things, and we could possibly turn it on and off as well with some dispensers and water. So it's a really interesting idea, and we're going to start off by doing some tests. So I'm going to go up to the top. We're going to fill water up on one side over here and then let it go down, and then we'll just observe the farm and see what happens. Things are in place, we are almost ready to go here, and I've just been thinking a little bit about how we would actually automate this water. What we could do is have dispensers in the ceiling, and when they dispense the water, what they should do is spread it to 4 adjacent blocks like this. So then with the dispensers spaced out, we should be able to make somewhat of a checkered pattern like this. If you imagine those tiled next to each other, then it should be possible to have all this water appear and fall all the way down, which I'm sure would actually be incredibly laggy considering how much that could be at once and how far it has to go down, but we'll think about that later. So let's quickly just remove all of this, and then we can remove the platform right here. So we might feel a little bit of lag. At the moment we're on 60 frames per second, and let's just dance across to one side like this. In fact, we want to hit as many of these as we can. And no noticeable difference to the frames as of yet. We're only removing a few blocks at the moment. It looks like we'll have to do 2 at a time going across. There we go. So maintaining 60 frames per second. I'm also not looking at the water itself, whereas now I am. A little bit more, I guess. Still getting 60 frames per second, so maybe it doesn't cause that much lag as I thought it might have done. Let's drop down here. There's all the water falling down. Still 60 frames per second. That looks really, really cool. So now what we're going to do is actually just hang out. I'm going to jump in there and collect all of that granite. Don't want to make that go to waste. But I'm just going to hang out in this area. I'm probably going to go on the other side of the water and bring my camera account on here as well in game mode 3. And then we can observe what the slimes are doing, because my theory is that when they just walk into the water, they're going to get caught up in there, they're going to die, and then the drops are just going to fall down to the bottom here, which means we can make some sort of collection system under here. So anyway, I'm going to grab this granite, bring the camera account on, and we're going to check out what happens. So far my observations have not been too promising. That guy was going over that side. I've got to say, it does feel a little bit like the slimes are avoiding the water. However, this guy up the top here may disprove that, because every time they got close to the water, they seem to turn and choose a different direction. But they do that quite often as well. So basically, they hover around in the water like this guy's doing, and then eventually he'll start to take damage. However, he is coming back out of the water again, which could be a little bit of a problem. But so far, our test hasn't been that great, mainly because we've only got water on one side. So I think what we need to do is up the test and put water on all of the sides of the farm, and then we'll get a better idea of what's going to happen. I've got a real good feeling about this farm. This looks absolutely awesome. There are slime balls down at the bottom, quite a lot of them as well. We'll fly around and have a look at those. I think this farm is going to work. However, I don't think it's going to be the most efficient thing. Now, the first thing to note is that we are getting slime balls down the bottom. That means that this does indeed work, which is great. But the thing that I've been observing so far is that the slimes can kind of swim in and out of the water. So this guy right here, he's come into the water. Now, he's not stuck there like he would have been before. He can actually go wherever he likes, and it looks like he's being a good little sport and going back to the outside, which is awesome. So that is obviously not very efficient. You want to kill these slimes as quick as possible, but with this being a passive farm and with the setup being ever so simple, just water around the outside, it seems like this would be a really good option to begin with. And here's another thing, by the way. In game mode 3 you can go inside the head of a slime, which is a pretty crazy place to be. Look at that right there. Oh, that's really cool. I've got to say, I do like how this place looks. The water walls are really interesting. Kind of gives it a bit of an atmospheric, definitely underwater vibe. That's pretty obvious. But I like this look. You know, water should be used in building more often. But anyway, I've been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of observing on this farm, and I've come to a realization that I think I did the same thing last time I worked on the slime farm design, is that sometimes the old mechanics are pretty much the best way. I've been thinking about how this is going to play out, and I had this thought, you know, if the slimes are going to swim into the water and back out again, then the old method makes more sense, because when they come off the edge of the platform, they fall all the way down into the water at the bottom, and then they're kind of contained down there. So even though it was nice to play around with a different idea, we could have had some dispensers up there in the ceiling, it could have been awesome, it really doesn't feel like it's the smartest of things to do. But what we would have done down the bottom here, underneath this stone, was to have some minecart tracks going back and forth, and then some hopper minecarts to pick up the items, which is what I think we will do. We don't have an iron farm yet on the server, so we can't make ridiculous amounts of hoppers, which could also cause a little bit of lag. And yes, the last myth-busting episode, if you have been reading the comments, a lot of people were saying that it's not technically called lag. That's kind of a term we use for these things in the game. I'm not sure what the correct term should be. Maybe frame rate issues would be a more precise way of describing it. But lag is latency between a server and a client, and that's not what causes frame rate issues most of the time. So anyway, I've been doing a little bit of investigating around here. You see, when I built this thing, the platform at the very top was at Y40, and that is the highest that the slimes can spawn at. Thing is, you need the platform to be Y39 for them to spawn at Y40. So everything here needs to come down by 1 block. So I've done a little bit of measuring down the bottom, and it looks pretty perfect, because bedrock is all the way down here at the bottom. So that's the lowest that we can go down to build at a consistent height. So we can put our tracks along at this height. Have we got a slime chasing us down? Usually when I'm working in this area, there's some sort of slime sneaking up on top of me. But yes, we can have our tracks going back and forth. Then we have a block here that might need to be something different. I can't remember if hopper minecarts pick up directly off the block. I'm pretty sure they do actually. Hopper minecarts will pick up from a full block. It's regular ones that don't. That being the stationary block type. Anyway, so then above there we're going to have 3 deep water to drown the slimes in. And then what I'm thinking might be a good idea is to have some blocks on the edge at this height. Sorry, this would be the level of the next platform. So where this is, it comes down by 1. And then that means that the slimes should have a really hard time trying to jump out and get back onto the platform. So a moment ago I was talking about how Creeper just killed a bunch of my chickens. That is not good because I was killing them earlier as well. Oh dear, that's not good. I spoke to Mumbo about that, by the way. He was fine with it. It was all cool. But hopefully he's still got some left. So yeah, what were we saying? So all of this needs to come down. Each of these platforms needs to come down by 1 block, and that means it'll be level with this one right here, which is kind of perfect. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me to do. We've done our talking. I think I'm just going to set up this farm, and I'll show you it when it's finished. Hope you enjoyed the impromptu time-lapse. As I started to work on this thing, I thought, you know what? I like time-lapses, let's make one right now. And now I've got to a point in this project where I've realised that we are just getting way too far ahead of ourselves. I'm thinking like we're on the old map, and we do not have the resources we need to complete this. And also, doing what I've done so far has been tedious because of these guys who are forever harassing me wherever I go. So anyway, let's drop down here and see what I've done. So first of all, I've dug out the space down below to put the rails in. So the rails can go all the way around the outside here, and then the next thing to do would be to place them in and put a platform back in at this height right here. So all of that was a little time consuming. There was lots of lava in the way and stuff like that as well. But then I've got to this point where I've realised, you know, I've got the project in mind, but we are not set up enough to do this because we need loads and loads of powered rails, which we can of course afford because we have the gold farm. However, what we can't afford is to power it. We need some redstone blocks because there's loads of bedrock in the ground and powering it with levers is going to be tricky with all of the blocks above and the water above it. So what we really need is loads of redstone blocks above to power the rails, and I just do not have that, and I don't want to fight any more slimes. I've killed way too many today. In fact, one of the things... oh no, it's about to get to a safe spot there. One of the things we need to do is actually look at our kills. And these slimes, since they made changes to them, the big guys move really fast and they can actually do a lot of damage to you, and they can climb ladders as well. Yep, that's right. Okay, so we really do need to take these guys out. So yeah, we're really not ready to actually finish this project, and that's one of those things I don't like doing, you know, sort of half doing stuff. I like to get lots of things done in an episode, but unfortunately we do not have enough redstone blocks. I've done some calculations and we are nowhere near there yet. We'll probably need a witch farm or something like that. So once again, we'll be coming back to this another day, but we have got ourselves loads of slime blocks in the process, which is really, really cool. So we're not actually that safe here. Let's hop over this side and run away from where the slimes are. Let's just go up here and we'll open our stats. So, statistics, what do you want to see? Mobs, over here. We've killed 100 creepers on this map. That's awesome. This is actually really interesting. I haven't looked at any of this at all yet. So lots of zombies and slimes. Look at that. 2,300. And that is with no automation whatsoever. Well, you know what I mean. It's not like they're all grouped up, ready for you to hit, like you would have on a skeleton farm or something like that. 14 ghasts, that's pretty cool. I've been killed by a zombie pigman and an enderman. Cave spider, 144 blaze, magma cubes. That's not farmed either. That's quite a lot. I'm surprised by that. Although I guess, like with slimes, they split up as you kill them, so you get a lot from one, effectively. Lots of cows, chickens, squids, and rabbits as well. There was something else here I was hoping to see. It was wither skeletons, except they will get grouped up with skeletons, so we can't see that, unfortunately. If you're watching this in 60 FPS, that last clip was in 30 frames per second. Isn't it funny that on the day that we talk about that kind of stuff that it actually happens? Because with that time lapse I decided to record it in 30 FPS. Since it all gets sped up, it didn't really make much sense to do it that way. But anyway, we've got a fortune pick here. We got some diamonds, which we got while we were doing that digging. And we're going to dig this up because we're going to check out the repair cost of our pick. That definitely has fortune free. We definitely just got 5. That was the unluckiest harvest of diamonds ever. I'm so glad that we only did 5 of them and not 100, eh? Although it doesn't work like that, but you know what I'm on about. Anyway, right, we need to make a pick, and we want to check out if what I was saying earlier was correct, because I was just chatting to Hypno, and I think he might be right. I think I might have overlooked something here, because a enchanted pick might already have a repair cost on it, so all we need to do is just grab an enchanted one and an unenchanted one, and then check it out on the anvil. Okay, so which one is it? This one right here. We've never repaired this one, so with a regular pick it's free, and with this one it's 8. Brilliant. I was completely wrong about that. Oh, okay, so I don't know what is the best thing to do with these picks anymore, but clearly using that one is better because it's cheaper. Wait a minute, I think I might have found a way to make these useful. So, this one right here, 1 durability on it, that one right there, enchanted, makes the repair cost more. We can combine those together. This is a dead pick that we'll never use again, and we get a regular one back, which means the repair cost is cheaper. So that is the way to do it, and I'm really happy I remembered that, although you do need, you know, a good pick that's been used and can't be repaired anymore. And I really hope that that was one of those, because I've just dumped all of my picks in here, and some of these actually might have been able to have been repaired, but at least we learnt something, so that doesn't really matter. And just in case you're wondering, it does forget that it's been repaired, or been an enchantment even, so you can see the repair cost is the same for both of these. So the next job on the list is to get some dark oak saplings. That is for our canopy around the paved area. And the best way to do this, I think, is to deforest an area, because if you're going to plant down the trees and chop them down, it takes 4 saplings and you get about 5 to 8 in return. So farming them can be a little bit slow, and chopping down a forest is a really good way to get a lot of saplings, which is what we need. So the footage that you're watching, it may be third person, it may be first person, I don't know, but last time I tried to record this time lapse, I had a problem where my camera account was recording but the blocks weren't updating. So as I was chopping down trees, they looked like they were still there, and I was standing in the middle of a tree, which looked really strange. So I don't know what it is you'll be watching, but this is some pre-recorded talking from me here. I'm going to go and chop down the trees in a little bit. So there was actually something that I wanted to talk to you that I felt was quite important, and it's to do with a second channel, which will be a paid channel, and I want you to hear everything I have to say before you make up your opinion on what you think about this, because I want to make it really clear why I'm doing this. So I am really considering setting up a second channel, which is a paid subscription channel, and all it will do is for who subscribes to that channel, it will remove all of the ads on the main channel, this one right here. So to make it clear, absolutely nothing would change on this main channel. It would run the same way as it always has done, and the only thing would be if you went over to the second channel and subscribed for money, then all the ads would disappear on the first channel, and that's the only change, and that's not for everyone, that's just for the person who subscribes. So I want to make it really clear that I don't do donations and I don't do Patreon support because I am a full-time YouTuber. I don't need those things to help me do this job, and I work really hard at putting a lot of hours into this YouTube channel, and I feel like what I get paid kind of reflects that, and I think the whole thing is fair. So for that reason, I'm not looking for extra money in that respect, because when it comes to money, I'm not really motivated by like greed or objects or possessions, etc. The thing that motivates me to earn money is survival and security, staying alive, being able to take care of yourself, etc., etc. And I have some quite strong ethics when it comes to money and what money gets involved with. So for me to set up this second channel and to take money from people who want to subscribe to it, there would have to be something in return of value that I could give them. And I feel like this would actually be something of value for some people who want to support me, and they don't like ads on the videos. It might be a viable thing, to subscribe monthly and then to have all of the ads removed on the main channel. So I'm really considering this at the moment. I think it'll be a cool way to earn some extra revenue. Of course, you always want to earn more, but I don't want to be greedy about it. It's not like I want to take anything away from here and then sell it for money. It's just an additional thing on the side. If someone goes and subscribes to it, then they get something in return, which is no ads on all the videos. And yeah, nothing really changes other than that. So for me at the moment, it sounds like a really good thing that I could do. Obviously, it means I would earn more money, which would be a nice thing. And I feel like ethically it's okay to do so. So really I'm just looking for some feedback at the moment, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and set up this channel, and then I'll inform you all about it soon. But I did some tweeting yesterday. A lot of people were really supportive. There were a couple of things that on Twitter I wanted to make clear to those who were tweeting with me. This will change nothing on the main channel, It's going to be exactly the same. This is just an additional thing that helps support me, and that would be it. And I also talked a little bit on Twitter about perhaps uploading extra content to that channel, but I thought about it further and I did feel that that was like an unfair thing. If I'm going to upload videos, it should only be on this main channel. The only reason that that channel would be there is to remove the ads on this one. So anyway, I think I've said everything I want to say for now. I look forward to hearing your feedback, so leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about that. And that's it, I guess. Well, that wasn't so bad at all. Check it out. We almost got 2 stacks of dark oak saplings. That's decent. And 11 apples. And a ridiculous amount of wood. I am probably going to be doing a lot of building with dark oak wood in the future. But that is a job well done for now. And if we go down into this area, while I've been away, Fulz has actually been working on the paths down the bottom here. Just before I went to the slime farm, I was chatting to her about the paths, and I put down some markers, and she has actually connected them all together, which is awesome, because it means next episode we're all ready to plant down these saplings and extend the canopy around this area. And things are looking real good. You can see the pathways are all being connected, which is awesome. And yeah, Hermit Hills is really coming together. I love that name. I think we actually agreed on that in a meeting that we were going to call it Hermit Hills. But that is it for this episode of Hermitcraft. As always, if you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, because it's going to be appreciated. And if you're looking for something to do, what is that up there in the top left corner of the screen? Some other things you can go do. Go check out the website and the xisumavoid dictionary. And there's some fan art there as well, and all kinds of cool stuff. But that's it for this episode. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.